Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gary Summers, and welcome to Mind, Body, Soul, a show about your mental, physical, and spiritual wellness. We know that energy cannot be created or destroyed, so where does our energy go when we pass? We have all had loved ones pass. Some have had a long, fulfilling life, while others left this earth way too soon. Some use terms like source, spirituality, reincarnation. Many of us wonder what comes next, or why can't a loved one contact us from the other side, or is there a God? We have all heard the terms channels, mediums, intuitives, clairvoyants, psychics. My guest today helps people find answers to their many questions with life and make it more clear and understandable to them. She uses different ways to do this depending on what the client needs. It all comes from my extra sense, my sixth sense, she says. Everyone uses it already in different ways because we all have it. I'm just able to actively use it more than most people. Mine is clairvoyance, smell, and sense and feeling energy. With all this, she helps herself and others find peace, hope, and understanding in anything of the spiritual, paranormal world and where it fits in with their daily lives for what they need. Welcome the happy medium, Lesley Rumsey. I know you said something to me a while ago, and you said, what I didn't believe in, I definitely believe in now. What can listeners expect to hear from you today?
Well, the things that we don't know, I'm going to tell you, the things that you're going to get out of me is that they're actually going to make sense. Obviously, we only have so much time, and this is limitless as far as I'm concerned. We could talk and talk and talk forever. But it's the aha moments. It's the stuff that we already know of because that inkling is there inside us. It's making that contact and that connection of, oh, I get it now.
I like the comment where you said you want to help people get some kind of understanding about what life is really is all about. Because sometimes life throws us curveballs. It sometimes can't be fair, and we lose loved ones, and sometimes we'd like to have them back. So you're going to give us a little sense of relief when it comes to that. So Lesley, can you give us some idea as to how all this works for you? How do you see it? How do you sense it? How do you feel it? How do you hear it?
Yeah, I think everybody is needed. We all have it. That's what I tell people. It's just a matter of ways that we use it. It's like tools, skills. We all go to jobs. We all have it. Intuition, everyone, when you say the word intuition, everyone knows that one. So start from there, keep using it like a muscle, and then you'll see and hear more. When I first started seeing, which is clairvoyance, I didn't even know what the word was. My sister actually told me about it.
Lesley, so you hear things as well. Some people deal in symbols and things like that, but you actually hear things from the other side.
Yeah, a long time ago I said to Spirit, I don't want to have those symbols, and because you had to find your own symbol dictionary. I said I want it faster, and I want it quicker, and I want it stronger.
When you say you started seeing things, can you explain what you mean by that?
Vision. So it's your third eye, what some people know as their third eye or your mind's eye. And the way I tell people is, say if you just got dressed this morning, and now we're sitting here, we can think of ourselves getting dressed this morning. You had breakfast. That comes from that visual imagery of right here. And that's where I get that visual imagery. What happened was when I started seeing and talking to people like in person to me, I would also start seeing different things for that person through that eye.
And that's where you mentioned symbols before. Some people see symbols through that third eye,
yeah,
and they know what those symbols mean to that person, and then you have to decipher it.
Exactly. It's very hard for them, for spirit to connect and make that, because it's all energy, so they have to give it that in imagery form to me, for me to understand it, and for me to then articulate it then to the person.
Can you just give people kind of an idea of, what would you typically see and as you refer to as a symbol?
Okay, at the beginning when it's very hard for them to connect with us, and for me to figure out how to relay it to that person, it a lot comes like we talked about in symbol form. At the beginning, the main basics for me was roses. When somebody gave you roses, especially like a husband or a brother or even a sister, roses meant I love you. So it's one of those things of here. And then, thank you, Spirit. I just heard him again. Don't forget about the gift box. I used to always get a gift box. So when someone gave me the gift box from Spirit, it said, here's my gift to you.
What do people usually ask for?
Our main things, it's usually personal. So our personal, of course, is work, our home life, family life, relationships, children, different jobs. But then it's the other energy of, well, I had somebody pass, or a mother or father, are big ones, obviously, loved one, husband, wife, child.
When you do your group work, is that what people are more interested in? Do you want to be able to contact someone who's passed to make sure that they're okay?
That's right, yeah. I tend to ask them straight up front because I want to get whoever they really want to come through. And that's what I go with up front. When it's in a group, it's usually because it's, yes, I have, we're getting a bit older now. We want, mothers past, dads past. And can you give me some hope and peace in that?
Lesley, what are the hardest things to talk about in a reading?
Time. People don't understand the concept of time. Time we have here on earth. Time and spirit, there is none. So if somebody passed 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 30, does not matter. It's still in this of the here and now. So when you're telling a loved one, say that probably her father, which has happened, her father has passed a year ago, and this person, it's not that they're not developed yet or transcended yet, it's just more they are there in the now as if it just happened. But she thinks it's a year ago, but he hasn't gotten to the point where he's crossed yet because he actually didn't know that he died. So it's a tough concept to talk to a loved one in front of me and talk to them about a timing.
Lesley, I've noticed sometimes when you'd stop and you'd look up or you'd say thank you, what are some of the things that our listeners would like to know about spirit?
They are hilarious. Hilarious. I absolutely love it. I get drunk in it. I love it. It just exuberates right from me, and then those things happen. But that's my main thing, that they're so funny. They show me the weirdest stuff all the time, and they want us to laugh because that's what life is all about. They want us to laugh. We have so much serious stuff all the time, which is needed. We do. But at the end of the day, we're human, and we don't need it to have it to be so bad on this end because life is for the living.
Why do you think people are in fear of all of this? People will say, I'm afraid to die. It's fearful. Will it be bad for me? Will I experience any pain? Is there anything after, or is this it? Is this all I've got here on earth?
So the whole thing that you just said, Gary, is because it's the fear of the unknown, and it's the fear of what we brought up to understand, which is two totally different things of what spirit actually is. And we could get in another segment between what religion versus spirituality. But at the end of the day, what it's all for, God is love, any source is love. Anything that comes to you in a positive form is of love. Everything else is of fear. So when it's fear-based, it's usually because it's the unknown of where am I going? We don't see that. Obviously, there's no door. We didn't pass through it the way we physically would. Do we have physical pain? Because we feel pain here, but we can't feel that there. So it's two totally different things. So the way that because we express pain here, we express anger, we express jealousy, thank you, source, grief, and guilt, because we all have that here. That's our mind can only take that in, but it's limitless where they are in energy form, and that's all of love. There is no fear.
So you almost come back to first when you were born. You have that pure spirit. You don't have any.
You just came right from there.
You just don't have any insecurities. You don't have any self-esteem issues. You don't have anything.
That's for us.
Lesley, I'm sure one of the questions that people ask is how does spirit show itself to you? I've heard some things they're 3 feet above the ground, they're in a different plane. How do you see spirit? How do they present themselves to you?
I personally, because everyone's is different, I personally see them in shadow form. So I can describe them. I can describe the way that they look, their thinness, their biggerness. Thank you. But mostly for me, it's the sense of feeling of mannerisms. I know their whole personality because I'm already in that energy field. And I see them, so I can describe them, but I can also tell you exactly what they're like, because that's how I resonate, is on their vibration.
Have you ever had anybody that you got nothing?
Yes.
Why would that be?
And this is one of the surprising ones that people don't know. It's you are actually in control of your own reading. People come to us in fear a lot, which it's understandable, and a lot of people block it at the same time. As much as they would at the bottom of their heart love to believe, and they're there in front of you, so they do believe. It's just a matter of that boundary of how do we make that thinner of that fear. If you come in with that certain expectation that you're going to test that person, well, then you already blocked the energy of yourself, and not only yourself, but of your loved one at the same time.
So you have to be a willing participant.
Exactly.
You know, I say the same thing when I do my hypnosis shows.
Right.
You have to be willing. If you're going to put up a block and create a challenge, that's going to. So it works exactly.
Yeah.
It works exactly.
And the reader has such a good control of their session. That's a lot of people don't understand that. They think it comes with you, like the person who's doing it for them, but it's actually the person coming in for the reading. If you don't want to block your loved one, and you don't want to block that reading, if you really want it. Now we know, and I'm after saying no, come back to me again.
We talked earlier about you making sense of all of this. There must be some feeling of self-fulfillment for you.
Oh my goodness.
When, because I've had people break down when it's almost like a burden has been lifted off their shoulders, that you know, that sense of the unknown that they've had for so long now finally makes some sense, and they finally get some peace, which is really what it's all about, isn't it? Is finding peace in a tumultuous world where so many things are happening. So just talk a little bit about what you get, your basic purpose for doing this.
My basic purpose now is, now that I've grown so much in the process, it's all a process. I had to do a lot of healing to get to the point that I am to now today. And I'm allowed now. They've gained me access now into different realms. So that's when I said, come through, and come through fast. What I get out of it then is the whole sense. What I can look at somebody and have them come to terms of the non-believers, just like myself, come in front of me, and in 2 minutes I can change it around, because it's not about me. It doesn't come from me. It comes from their loved one, and that's what they're there for. I had somebody say to me, Lesley, what I couldn't do in therapy in 11 years, you just told me in 2 minutes.
That's meaningful. Like, that's purpose, right? That's a big reason to get out of bed in the morning, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, nothing to fear.
Nothing to fear.
Because we had discussion during the break about someone had gone to someone and they gave them some really, really bad news, and that's not what you're about.
No.
It's not about creating difficulties for people or making life worse. It's about giving them hope.
It's giving the hope and the peace. And I told Spirit a long time ago, I could probably go into that of, you know, people are fear of the death. I don't want anyone to tell me, you know, when I'm going to die, if something's going to happen to a loved one, am I going to be sickness, that kind of stuff. That's not what I dive into. I tell my people and the show that you will never walk in through that door any worse than what you came in with. Never, ever. If anything, you're going to have the biggest, most weight off your shoulders, because the connections of even just sitting there and observing, not even getting a reading, the observation alone, you make those connections for yourself, and you walk out 100 times lighter.
So Lesley, we do have some wide-eyed guests in the studio that certainly came here, and I don't know, some may be believers, some may be non-believers. So I think maybe in the last segment we could certainly let our listeners, give them an idea of exactly what you do and how it kind of your sessions actually do work. So Lesley, we take a totally different shift and maybe give our listeners some idea of what a reading would be like. And I know you've got your pen and a piece of paper, so if you hear a little bit of scribbling in the background, that's Lesley just
trying to focus.
So we have 4 or 5 people in the studio right now as people who are very intrigued by what this is all about. And so Lesley is going to just go around the room and see what energy she can pick up.
And so this is just be a sample. So this is what to expect. I kind of do a little bit of both. I give people the option. Do you want a little bit of personal? Do you want to hear from someone? Or do you want just loved ones? I don't open up the room. I can't, because I'm like an antenna. So, and I just want to tune it in, tune it off. I'm just a receiver, like we all are. So if I opened up the whole room, all of a sudden all the grandmothers be coming, everybody be showing up, and then grandmothers, God love them, all of a sudden I got uncle in, they start showing you everybody.
Yes.
So by the end of it, you're like, oh, well, I was hoping I'd hear from such and such and such. So I've bypassed all that now.
Okay.
So what I do is really go into the person that you actually like to hear from first. Not that anybody has more priority than anybody else.
I understand, yeah.
So can we start with one person?
Sure.
Okay. A name, just first name's fine.
Tina,
And how old?
52,
And how long she been gone?
a month and a half.
Oh, God. Okay. So personally, I know something about this. Somebody has already actually come and asked me about
Oh, okay.
this person. So I haven't tuned into this person yet. Before when this person was passing, should I say? So we can go there, okay? Yeah, so many hearts. There's your symbolism. So I'm gonna ask her to be a bit more communicative because I'm seeing the hearts, and when I see hearts, I'm telling you, she's giving, because it's the whole room. So she's giving it to everybody that it's like this and this and this and this, and I got them all over the room, because to me that means communication of love. Yeah. So I know that this person was sick,
Yeah.
and she shows me the physical trauma of that. And when I describe, now I've only, and I can say this, I only seen a picture of this person's passing, but it was after somebody actually asked me to see her before she left, which I feel the guilt in that I couldn't get to that person before that had happened.
Okay.
But since then I have seen the face, but I also know now that, okay, and I'm going to try to describe her. If I had this so much hair, thank you, and probably like the same build, but taller. And it's the way that was. Yeah. But she's saying the most importantly would be the wedding ring. Was she married?
Yes.
Okay. Where's the ring?
I have no idea.
So relation to everybody. Who is she to everybody?
You want me to point out?
Yeah.
Sister-in-law and sister-in-law.
Okay. All right. The hearts. Yeah. But it's the wedding ring, and it's just to acknowledge the fact, because I guess they want it, because, okay, so it's the communication of the messages of, obviously, of this person who this would be belonged to now. And I can only assume that it's a partner. Did I have a partner, right? If I was married.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to ask her to do instead, because it's, well, I'm just going to do it. I've never had him channel like this way before, because usually see, and this is where my human ego comes into. I don't want to be intrusive, and I don't want to make anybody feel bad, and I don't want any. So I'm just going to channel what she's saying. So it's thank you for being here. I didn't think I would be here this way with you all, but she's laughing. So I'm laughing at Ye now. Ye now, who has the last laugh? Yeah. I went through a lot of pain.
Yeah, she did.
But I'm free now. She said, as a bird, so to speak.
Free as a bird.
I couldn't quite get out the words I wanted. I couldn't, she said, basically I couldn't make them up. Like, basically I couldn't form them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
She couldn't get it out.
Yeah.
I couldn't get the words out, but I was there. I heard you all. I came back for more. I love you all. She's laughing because I want to say I can't make this stuff up. Okay, I'm sorry.
Is there anything she'd want me to pass on to anyone, or?
Okay, because now as soon as you say that, she's showing me where she's actually transitioning, and she's actually on the doorstep, because then please for this timing of, there is no timing. We think a month and a half, but it just has happened, and she will always be in the moment of now, because that's what she comes with on that love vibration. So she's just showing me, because I do this part of it too. I know what happens when we pass. I know what stages we go through, and she's actually showing when we do pass over, and she was pain, and I can tell you this now. It was pain-free. It was, thank you, love-free. It comes on that wavelength. When she passed, there is no pain, because I don't have a physical body anymore. Mm-hmm. Everybody was there to greet me, and as she says this, I can actually see grandmother. Grandmother's like doing a jig too, so she's happy. But anyway,
Does the grandmother have a name, or do you know?
That's one thing I'm going to talk about, the names. Names I don't, because what happens is there's so many, and it's hard to get through the communication of names. But going in with the intention, but I do in the energy of form. So I see grandma, but because I'm still talking then to Tina, she's actually showing me that she's seeing her movie now. So when we cross over, it actually shows us We know exactly what this life was all about. We know why it happened. We know exactly, and I think that's the message she's trying to get out, that she now understands the meaning behind of why this physical vessel needed to go so fast. Okay? And it's the pain, and it was dragged out.
Yes, it was.
Right? Like, I feel like all of a sudden, like I was in this pain, and it made me feel like this was just too much. And it makes me feel, but yeah, thank you. So as soon as I went past, she went like that. It was just like that, and the physical pain was just gone.
Oh, that's good to
right?
hear. Yeah.
It's gone. It's just gone. It's completely in lifeless form, and it's like. And then she's such a high vibration. She said, "I just floated like the goddess that I was."
Oh my God! Yeah.
So as soon as she, and I'm telling you, she lifted, and she said, such a high energy now that there's no mistaking. The afterlife is real.
Oh.
And I can't judge anybody else who says otherwise anymore, because that's exactly where I am. And she shows me the movie. She's after seeing, we do see clips of our movies and why our lives are here and why we did it. And she's actually in that stage because she knows I need to understand certain things too on my end. But it's that movie form, and she's seeing it for what it truly is. She said there's life, love. She said, please don't give up. Please understand that I'm always here and that I'll always be here. And it's just, she said, I'm just in another energy form now. And she said, I'll always be with you.
Okay.
Yeah. She said, she's the real deal. And God love her, because as soon as I'm telling you, when she floated and she went like this, she said, because it's the goddess that I am.
That's Tina.
God love her. It is all about the small things in life.
It is.
It is. That's what we take with us. That is who we are. All that memory.
Well.
Okay. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me.
So that's it for this week, everybody. I'll be back next week with another interesting guest. Thanks for listening.